Welcome in, Tuesday edition. Blue Sky Live, Oxford Excellent Podcast, all those things here with you this morning. McCready, Chase, Parham, Clark Ford Studio. We will discuss some Ole Miss pitching decisions today. The Rebels set their rotation for the Arkansas Razorbacks. They are in Memphis tonight, playing on campus against the Memphis Tigers. I think the weather is going to cooperate for them. At least it seemed like it as of late yesterday afternoon, something like that. So we'll dive into that a little bit. They are staying in Memphis tonight and just heading straight to Fayetteville, not coming back home prior to Thursday, which makes sense. The series starts there on Thursday for that one. Talk a good bit of women's NCAA basketball tournament as TV got exactly what they wanted last night. They got 2 home run games there with Iowa and UConn both advancing to the Final Four. So we'll go through that a little bit and some other topics coming up with you. Corey Clark will join us here in a few minutes as well on the Campbell Clinic hotline. The Blue Sky locations throughout Mississippi, up and down I-55, throughout North Mississippi as well. You know about the lunch specials. You got red beans and rice, meatloaf, spaghetti, chicken spaghetti, a lot of options for you throughout the week. Stop in, fuel up. Check out the clean convenience stores all over the state of Mississippi, including their new Blue Sky Epicenter there in Macomb. We told you about the grand opening last week. A lot of locations to take care of you with Blue Sky and the Craddock family and everyone else. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark. Corey Clark will join us in a moment on the Campbell Clinic hotline. The Campbell Clinic is in Oxford now, 2608 South Lamar Boulevard, Suite 102, just across the street from the cottages at Hooper Hollow. The Campbell Clinic provides full-service orthopedic care, everything from sports medicine to foot and ankle surgery to spine and total joint care to pediatric orthopedics, physical therapy, and more. To book an appointment, go to campbellclinicoxford.com or call 901-759-3111. Walk-ins are always welcome at the Campbell Clinic, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yeah, I do think there are some tornadoes throughout the region tonight, so everybody stay safe if that is an actuality there.
We'll talk to Corey in a minute. He's probably in Amory. I saw where Amory schools are either just letting them off today or dismissing early.
Really?
Yeah.
There was I saw last night a bunch of school closures. Yeah, there was multiple Monroe County and some other people go ahead and either doing early dismissals, as you said, or calling the whole day there, if you will. Since he's gone in a second, we'll get into some big-time sports topics. I saw something yesterday, and you and I have talked about this a little bit. I thought it was a really good sign for just in general. You know, we talk about college isn't necessarily for everybody and all the stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Trade schools, 22 to 23, 2022 to 2023, up 16%.
Good.
On attendance. It was a really good thing. I saw that yesterday. I thought, I want to point that out. That was that's a promising statistic as people look for different ways to make a living and do some different things.
You can make real money.
Yeah, get a little apprenticeship and get going. And
I mean, I've talked to some of the guys that work for Comer.
Uh-huh.
I mean, those guys are making like serious money, 20, 21 years old. It's work. It's hard work, but it's more money than you're making with a philosophy degree from an institution.
Reading from the stream, I'm cool with a lot of takes on them, but LSU's never out for the anthem. I'm not going to go crazy down that road on them. Kim Mulkey is not going against America. No. I think that's a complete fabrication of a storyline.
She said she was asked about it. She gave an answer. She said that they always go in at the 12-minute mark.
Yeah.
The game wasn't at the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. They didn't control the clock.
Yeah.
I have a lot of criticisms of LSU. That's not one.
No. That was finding something just to find something yesterday. So no, I'm not there on that one as far as LSU and the media circus that was last night in a good way. Again, we'll get into it. I mean, frankly, I'm one of the people, and this has nothing to do with America. I think we play the anthem at things for no real reason at this point as much.
Agreed.
A baseball series, let's play the thing on Friday, and then let's just get on with the weekend. Maybe people get mad all they want to. I mean, because there's a lack of reverence when you're so used to it. Mm-hmm. Because how many times are you really going, I'm at full attention and I'm focused? You're doing some other stuff. It's such ingrained as part of a pregame part of it that I don't even think you're focusing on. And I'm sure plenty of veterans are out there that do. I'm not. If you do, it's not a negative. But I guess that's my point. Is I would like for it to be a bigger reverence point, and it's not because it's so commonplace. and it feels like it's just there because it has to be in a way.
Okay.
Maybe what I'm saying is controversial. I don't know, but I
mean, you've had a lot of controversial takes this year. You released a budget.
I did. I released a budget.
You attacked women's sports in so doing. Last night was a night where, frankly, you were indicted. I mean,
yes.
Last night was a big night in our country. Women's sports was huge. In my house, two people who really don't watch a lot of sports.
Mm-hmm.
It was appointment viewing for them.
Yeah.
And you
and me.
You spent, when was it, the month of January, I suppose?
Yeah.
Attacking women's sports. And I don't know. I think this is an opportunity for you to look into a camera and apologize. I really do. I mean, your heart was in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And your actions had consequences for many of us. I mean, I caught shrapnel from that assault, and now's an opportunity.
Yes. The person leading the podcast with women's basketball and talking about the impact of Paige Beckers next year. I am the problem. It is I.
Why do you hate Caitlin Clark? Well, what has she done to you?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, I'm de-emphasizing Caitlin Clark in appreciation of others today on this. On this, I was actually. I'll be. I mean, it plays into this because I've been. I mean, I was really excited for last night. I was into it. This has been a cool story from so many different media standpoints. Corey's with so many different standpoints. Just how this perfect volcano has kind of erupted for what happens and what goes from it. And I missed the start of it last night. I thought it was 7 Central, not 7 Eastern.
Oh.
And I actually missed like the first 8 minutes of game time, which it was like 29-6 or 31-26. They were scoring a ton of points early. So I watched the rest of the time, even to the point of I did not put my child to bed because it was right at the end of the game. And I was like, she'll be all right for like 10 minutes here for us to finish this thing. But I was late because of the time zone thing last night.
So, did you watch Iowa LSU last night?
Watched the fourth quarter. I got an alert on my phone that cousin Caitlin went crazy in the third quarter with like 4 threes, I think. So that reminded me it was on. I cut it on, watched the end of it.
She's your cousin? Y'all are related now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I claimed Will Clark when I was 8. I guess I can claim Caitlin Clark now.
That's true. Bad weather headed your way today, this way as well. I know that probably triggers some memories for you. What's the weather word in Amory today?
It's kind of early afternoon. They're letting schools out around lunch, so it probably won't even rain. But that's the plan right now.
One of my pet peeves is letting them out at lunch. If you're going to let them out at lunch, just take the day off.
Oh, we don't need that. It's.
I have a question for both of you.
That ice got us. Go ahead.
You were both Cubs fans. What the hell was that daytime fireworks thing for opening day? What they set off 2 sparklers?
Yes.
I mean, what? I mean, was that a sign of what they feel about the season? What the hell was that?
In fairness, it was supposed to be 4, I think.
Okay, well that helped.
I think the right side didn't work. Is that right?
Yes, the right side didn't work, and only one of the left side truly worked. One just sort of sputtered.
That's the Ricketts.
Pyrotechnic than Smithville tennis.
Yes. It was terrible. It was terrible.
Spending that money.
They are so cheap. I mean, the reputation is that they're cheap, and then they have a day like that where they really look cheap. And for fans, it's kind of like, hey, what are we doing? Like, what was? Do you really need fireworks in the daytime anyway? I mean, we do the joke about it, but do you really need them?
I mean, it did kill the power here at Vault one day. Completely killed the power of a 44-8 game.
There's an actual guy on the message board named Daytime Fireworks.
Yeah, I mean that was an odd time in the University of Mississippi athletics.
Who was that against?
Arkansas.
Oh, that's right. I was covering an LSU game that day, and I remember hearing about it when I got to.
What year was that? Like 07?
It was 07, I think. Yeah, 44-8, I think was the score.
That went over well.
I mean, it was so expected, honestly. You know what I mean? During that time period, it's like, okay, sure. This just makes sense.
Was that like a capital campaign launch or something?
It's probably like a JP game too, at like 11:20 in the morning.
It was an early game
Yeah.
because I had LSU was playing a 2:30 game,
Okay.
and when I got to Tiger Stadium, they were talking about it.
Yeah, David Brandt named his blog that for a little while when he was at the Clarion Ledger. It was daytime fireworks. Just saying.
What's going on at Clark Ford today?
Oh, honestly, I don't know, because when the month ends on a weekend, our month actually ends. You hear the trains? The month actually ends the next day, so I really don't know what the rebates are right now, and I don't expect you to work this into what you say, Neal, when you talk about us. But I just want to let everybody know that we also have a sister store, Larry Clark Chevrolet GMC. So you can still call me if you're hunting a Tahoe or something like that. You can still call me at the Ford dealership, and I'll point you in the right direction.
662-257-1900 is that number. Call Corey. Ask for Corey. He'll send you a quote, like we always tell. And like you said, if you're looking for a vehicle that's not a Ford, he can probably help you with that as well, especially if it's a Chevrolet. So 662-257-1900. Corey, thanks for the time as always.
All right, guys, have a good day. Never change.
Corey Clark, Campbell Clinic Hotline, there with us for this Tuesday morning. Yeah, I did not see the Cubs spectacular until this morning with the GIFs and went, ooh, they did win, didn't they?
Yeah,
I
Shota.
think they won. He was good.
Shota Imanaga made his major league debut. He was very good. Didn't give up a hit until the 6th inning. Didn't give up a run, so he has a 0 ERA. And the Cubs are back to 500 today.
Guy for the Astros threw a no-hitter and only his 8th career start.
I saw that.
10-0 last night.
Against the Blue Jays.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah.
Ron Washington already calling team meetings there in Anaheim.
Feels a little early for
not
that.
letting it said, hey, don't let it spiral. I think they're outscored 24-7 so far this season.
It's April the 2nd. A little early.
Ron's a little high strung. I did really like him as a Braves assistant coach.
He was terrific.
He's awesome.
There's a big difference being the first base coach and being the manager.
Different level.
A little different.
Speaking of the Angels, if people are still interested in the Otani thing, which a lot of people are, Jason Stark had a podcast with Joe Madden where Madden talked about the relationship between the interpreter and Otani and kind of what that's like. Worth a listen there.
It's a fascinating story. There's
Doug Glanville also on that podcast.
There's another story, I think it's in The Athletic today, about trying to sort of lay out how that happens, how you can get $4.5 million in debt with a bookie.
Oh, that part of it.
Yeah. Pretty interesting about the level of addiction and there's just still a lot of questions. I've got a mailbag.
Well, it wasn't his money. It was the interpreter's money spending Otani's money. So, it's easy to get in debt when it's not your money, of course. Otani had nothing to do with it. Didn't know it. He's got money spread around. $4 million to him is like $20 to us. It's like
he had to know. He had to know. Right. He knew.
Of course he knew.
Was he doing it? Was he betting? Is this baseball covering up a scandal that they just can't afford?
Probably,
or trying
right?
to cover up? That's what it kind of feels like.
Because why are you letting this dude go that level of in debt, even if you're lending him? Even in a world where you're just lending him money or something. Come on. $4.5 million.
I know.
Yes, Drew. Blue Sky, all in one stop. So if you talked Blue Sky in a town a few weeks ago, needed energy drinks, USB-C cable, lightning cable, gum, candy bars, hygiene products, lunch, gas, all in one shot right there. Blue Skies across Mississippi, up and down I-55.
There you go.
Yes. He didn't even mention the barbecue or the banana pudding.
It's true.
Just saying.
Or the beer fridge.
I'll tell you, because we'll knock out a little baseball, then we'll get into the Final Four because it's probably the more compelling topic for people today, and we'll probably talk about it longer. As someone who's obviously covered Ole Miss for a long time from a baseball standpoint, Arkansas, I make the argument all the time that Arkansas Ole Miss is potentially the biggest rivalry in the SEC when they're both good, because there's a weird hatred and respect fan base, team, the whole deal. A lot of anecdotes over the years. A lot of times they played late in the season with stakes. They played in the postseason in 19 and 22 with major stakes. Last year it happened too, and I kind of hit me that is such a fun series when both are competitive that Ole Miss being in the turmoil they're right in kind of sucks. It's like you're playing this series where you're hanging on, but it's not what you're accustomed to with these two teams and that consistency that we talked about, because forever Mike Bianco and Dave Van Horn were the two that kind of regular season, you knew you were getting 16, 17 wins, whatever. I mean, they were going to run it up and do all these things. And you're going into a series now that Ole Miss scuffling to the point that they are. And Arkansas is doing what they have done so well under Dave Van Horn, except for 1 year. They had one crappy year a few years ago, and they went like 7-23 in the league.
Yep.
But otherwise, they just find ways to win. They have a lot of pitching depth. They're good defensively. They do all these different things. And
his calling card is consistency.
Yeah, so just from a long-term perspective, this series kind of being like this sucks. It's like the one that I kind of look forward to and go, hey, this is going to be really fun. Ole Miss typically plays well in Fayetteville. They've beaten Arkansas and Fayetteville more than anybody else in the West has over the course of the last 10 years. But they got the work cut out from them. And I wrote this on Twitter. I put it on the board. And look, they get to play the game and prove me right or wrong either way, and maybe it doesn't matter either way. But I didn't like what Mike did with his rotation yesterday, as he always does. And again, I give Richard credit for this. I'm not complaining. He announced their rotation on Sports Talk Mississippi yesterday afternoon. And they are playing Thursday to Saturday. Arkansas played last Thursday to Saturday.
Yeah.
So they're on normal rest from at least last week moving into this week. So I have no reason to believe Hagen Smith will not throw for Arkansas on Thursday. I would almost guarantee he does. There's no reason not to.
I'd be surprised if he didn't.
Yes, I don't know what they're doing with Molina and other dudes, but that's assuming what they will do.
They've done a really good job with Smith so far also, not letting his pitch count go crazy. They're getting him out after about 6 innings, keeping his pitch count in the 80s.
Today isn't what matters.
I think he threw 86 pitches the other day or something like that. They've done a really nice job of understanding that, hey, this thing is not judged on what you do in April.
So Mike is doing the traditional thing that most coaches do, frankly, that we've kind of just always done, and it's a safe thing. It's almost kind of like punting on fourth down a little bit.
Yeah.
Is he's moving everybody up. Riley Maddox going from Friday to Thursday, his second SEC start in a row. Liam Doyle going from Saturday to Friday. And then I guess the one news thing is they are TBA on Saturday. I'm wondering if they just simply don't know, or if there is a plan in some way. I will say this, and I haven't put this on the board. I need to, because Mike gave me a really good quote, and I've got so much knowledge from the book and stuff. I'm not being conceited. I understood what he meant. I don't know that anybody else did. He was talking about Josh Mallett's, and I asked, hey, how was Mallett's 50, 60, 70 pitches into his outing the other day? And he gave a quote that I think meant he doesn't feel comfortable starting him, because he was talking about the fastball velocity, and everybody focuses on the fastball. And he said, it's up. It was good. He said, but post-injury, his slider velocity has not been up. And the slider velocity is absolutely what makes Josh Mallett's go or not go. And again, I've got the numbers. I've written this like 10 times over the course of the months. They found out his sophomore year, or maybe his freshman, whatever year it was, 21, that when he threw the slider 87 or harder, it had a huge swing and miss rate, the whiff rate. He threw it for strikes. He was awesome. And if it was one number under that, it got hammered. It was just for some reason, a clear delineation between those two things. And that's what made him so good in 22 is he threw twice as many sliders. He threw twice as many harder, and he was incredibly effective, especially in the postseason. And he's been good so far. He hasn't been bad, but the slider velocity is not where it was in 22. That is the last thing that is coming back from Tommy John surgery. And he said when it's not there, he's been fine. He goes, I feel like I'm being critical, but I'm explaining this is the situation that we are in with this and what to do with him. So that's what I'm fascinated by. I don't know that Mike believes, and look, maybe he starts him on Saturday because there's no other choice. I don't know.
Right.
But I don't think he believes that he's starting the 2022 Josh Mallett's as of right now. I guess we'll put it that way, if he did that. So I found that kind of fascinating, as we all look at velocity on fastballs, but that's not the problem. The fastball's been up and fine.
It's a series from an Ole Miss perspective where you just can't get swept. You've just got to somehow win one game, get back here, and at some point here soon get hot, right?
And that was the point.
That's where I agree with you.
I'm bearing the lead here. I would throw whomever, figure out your best third option,
and give myself two really good chances.
Use my best two bullets on Friday and Saturday. Yeah. I keep those two guys on normal rest. Because, frankly, he didn't move Liam up last week because of pitch count stuff, even though Liam only threw 60, 70 pitches last week. Maddox on Friday, Dole on Saturday, and that is your best two chances to win games. And, look, Hagen Smith's going to be very difficult to beat anyway. It just is what it is.
They haven't lost there in a minute. What's their streak at home right now?
It's a huge. I don't know.
I don't remember. I was looking in 10 Thoughts. I was doing the SEC, rank the SEC things, and as you know, our AP subscription, we get lots of college basketball pictures, but there's rarely any college baseball pictures.
Yeah, sure.
And so I was like, I'll just use a tweet. And so Arkansas had just come off the sweep over LSU, and I had them at number 1 because I'm such a fan, not because D1 and Baseball America also have them at number 1. It was just me. I went and looked at their Twitter feed to find a tweet to put on top of the item.
Sure.
And they had a win streak of, I guess I could search for it now.
It's fine. I mean, no big deal.
I want to say it was 6.
At home.
A home winning streak of, I want to say 16 games, which is now
sizable.
Now includes 6 SEC wins. They've swept Missouri at home. They swept LSU at home. So the point is it's hard to go get a game there anywhere. Don't pitch your best guy against Smith on a day shorter rest. Give that game up, and now all of a sudden, look, the rest of their rotation's not chopped liver.
Why do we? I mean, I know why, because it's the Friday thing, and it's important, and it's establishing stuff, and I get the reasons that are the positive side, but there is a negative to this. Why do we always do this? Why do you go, hey, there's an All-American over there, so we're going to throw our best dude? I mean, maybe you beat him, but if you don't,
I don't know. I'm looking here.
It's fine. Yes, the Brian Walker
17 straight wins at home.
There you go. Yeah, the Brian Walker fake hit by pitch was 2007, I think, or 2006. So that has been 18 years ago when that happened. Brett Buckvich was on the mound for the Rebels that day.
It's the longest winning streak in Baum Walker Stadium history per the Arkansas baseball Twitter account.
I'll take their word for it. They wouldn't know.
I would assume they've done some degree of research. More than I have done. So I'm certainly not in a position to question them.
Yeah, no, look, it's a very difficult place to play over there.
What I was saying is you face Molina on Friday, and he's very good. And then you face Tigert on Saturday, who is inconsistent, but when he's on, he's really good. And your hands are full, and they've got a pretty good bullpen. They've got some guys one of the better relievers. They're starting to compare McIntyre to the cat that was really good a few years ago.
Kevin Cobbs.
I have no idea.
That feels lofty, but okay.
But I've heard the comparison, and the numbers are starting to bear that out. I don't think he has Cobbs' stuff.
Yeah, sure.
But he's a very competitive guy who can give them lengthy outings out of the bullpen. They've been able to come out of their first game having just used 2 arms a lot. And that's my point.
And that's the negative for doing a bullpen game the first day is we've said this a lot of times. Say you do play well and you're in the game in the 5th. Are you burning a reliever you're going to need the next 2 days when you're still facing Hagen for 3 more innings? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what do you do? How do you manage it? It just complicates it. But, I mean, if Riley Maddox got set there on Thursday and you get beat 2-1 and he gives up 2 runs in 7 innings, you wasted it.
Yes. And at the end
you just got beat.
And at the end of the day on Saturday, you just want to make sure you have a win.
Because that's my deal here is, look, I'm going to go ahead and, if you haven't watched Hagen Smith, if Ole Miss gets beat, the other pitcher tries too. They didn't just suck on Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, we'll see what it looks like. We'll watch it. But
Smith gave up a home run to Tommy White.
Yeah.
And then a home run to the guy behind White.
Okay.
And you would think, okay, well, they're going to rattle him now. No,
that was it.
He just locked the cage.
Yeah, but LSU, by the way, lost to Southern University last night.
They're struggling.
By the way, Southern, congratulations! You have a win over Mississippi State in basketball and a win over LSU in baseball in the last 4 months. Rolling there. Are they in Baton Rouge?
Yeah.
Is that Baton Rouge?
Yeah.
Okay.
LSU 2-7 in the league.
They're not last year.
No, I mean, look, you got to get going. You got to get the wins.
It's hard.
The league's hard.
It's hard.
That's the point.
Yeah. The point is it's freaking hard.
I saw people push back on Mike on that. I'm like, stop. You want to get mad at Mike? There's things to get mad at Mike about. That ain't it.
Him saying the league's hard is not.
The league's hard. Auburn is 1-8.
Yeah. And they don't suck.
No. They're 1-8.
They'd be in like third place in the ACC.
See, I think Tennessee's pretty good. They're 5-4.
Yeah.
I mean, A&M, Florida, those are 6-3 teams. They're both really good.
Tennessee's really good, and look, maybe they go win the title. I'm kind of selling them in the postseason, though. Something doesn't feel right there.
Yeah.
They have some holes. You get away from home. Now, maybe they win enough to play in Knoxville the whole time, and they just bash their way to the thing. But I don't know. It's a little weird there.
Dylan Cruz was really good. Paul Skeens was
he's all right.
Well, it's the same thing he's better than Smith.
Yes.
And Skeens is the guy that every first part of the weekend he would go shut the door on you.
And ate up innings.
And save bullpen. And so you were fresher later in the weekend.
No, look, even last year, you take away Paul Skeens, LSU's team ERA was almost 7.
Yeah. They just bashed their way through it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they
Cruz, Dugas,
they'd go
White.
They'd go score 14 runs.
Trey Morgan was much better last year.
And you would just tell your pitching staff, hey, can you hold them to 8?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of doable.
Yeah.
You know, if you go to Mike Bianco or Dave Van Horn this weekend and go, hey,
your offense is going to score 9.
You're going to get 9 runs today. Probably winning.
And that was full circle, and then we'll move on. That was the frustrating with Ole Miss thing on Saturday. When you give a game away, you get beat 17-9.
Yeah.
It's like you walked 10, committed 6 errors. And I keep getting asked about the errors. It's mental. These kids have played these positions before.
Mm-hmm.
Body language is not very good. The errors are stacking, too. 12 of their errors are in 2 games. They're just, when they commit one, it's snowballing on them right now. And it's where Mike, he wasn't wrong, but I read it a different way. He kept talking about how it's not traditional errors. To me, that is even more mental because you're doing pickoffs and not paying attention, and you're just it's stuff.
Well, and
it's lack of detail,
and you can start to press a little.
Yeah,
and you can
they're definitely pressing.
And you can lose your confidence. And I think baseball's a game where pressing's a bad thing.
I mean, Rippy told me yesterday. He said this in his podcast with Colin. So again, I'll take his word. I didn't do the math. Ole Miss, 17% of the runs allowed for Ole Miss this season are unearned. 17%.
That's a huge number.
That's a really big number.
And at this point, you're getting to the point.
They have allowed fewer earned runs than Florida. Earned.
Yeah.
Overall, 14th in the league. Dead last.
You're getting to the point where it's a big enough sample size to go, it's a problem.
Yeah. No, it's a huge problem. So, all right. The show is sponsored by BetterHelp. A lot of us spend our lives wishing we had more time. The question is, time for what? If time was unlimited, how would you use it? The best way to squeeze that special thing into your schedule is to know what's important to you and make it a priority. Therapy can help you find what matters so you can do more of it. Talk to somebody, not family, not friends, not people with preconceived notions, their own emotions into it. Talk to someone who's just there for you to help you learn positive coping skills and how to set boundaries, much more there. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, suited to your schedule. Fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. Switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Learn how to make time for what makes you happy with BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com/MPW today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/MPW.
Our next partner is Athletic Greens. I drink AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted better gut health, sustained energy, immune system support, and I hate taking pills. I drink AG1 every morning. Love knowing I'm doing something good for my body, giving my body the nutrition it craves, covering my nutritional basis. Covering my nutritional basis for the day literally couldn't be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix 1 small scoop of AG1 with water, drink it first thing each morning, done. Also like that it costs less than $3 a day. Pretty good if you ask me. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients. It's a win-win. If a comprehensive solution is what you need for your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/MPW. That's athleticgreens.com/MPW. Check it out. Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with the personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Seago with Seago Wealth Management specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan. Whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere, schedule a free discovery meeting and see what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com. We mentioned Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. The warm weather is on the way. We have one more kind of cold snap coming, and then after that, it's going to start warming up. That's just how it works in this part of the country. So if you haven't gotten that AC checked out, now's the time. Get in touch with the people at Comer or Southern, different names, same great people, products, and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern 662-429-4429. College Corner is in Oxford now as well, right off of Sisk Avenue in the Oxford Commons. 4,000 square feet of the best Rebel gear. Plenty of parking available. Their staff's going to have you in and out, ready for Swayze in no time. Also, 2 stores in the Jackson area, and you can check them out online at collegecornerstore.com. When you work with Argent Wealth's 401k advisory services team, you gain a valuable advisory team and time-saving resource that will help you develop and maintain a solid strategy for your retirement plan. They're committed to providing you with the personalized attention and involvement that you want and need. The goal is to help you manage your 401k plan properly and ultimately improve your employees' retirement readiness. Check them out at myargentwealth.com.
Why was Kim Wilkie just in a normal green outfit yesterday? Well, I mean, like, we do all this build up. She wears glitter and sparkles and all this stuff. And then last night, just green business suit.
See, this is your problem. You would never, ever say this about Coach McMahon, right? No?
Oh, trust me, I would. I hate all the joggers in men's basketball. Put the damn suit on. My God.
I miss the suits.
I do. Wait, put your suit on.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is when AK would wear like the red Christmas blazer or whatever it was. Like, no, come on.
I wonder if he misses that.
Yeah, no, I can't stand like it minimum slacks and a polo and like whatever. Like, we're in the sweatsuit out there. Come on.
You can even take the tie off. Just put the blazer on.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't Oates wear a blazer?
Yeah. Yeah. He's in the Final Four.
There you go. Science.
I mean, just saying. What's Dan Hurley wear? He can wear whatever the hell he wants. I get that.
Oh, he wears a sport coat too, doesn't he?
I think he does.
How about
think
that?
So.
Oh, we might be on to something.
I mean, at least Beard puts the pullover on. At least it's not complete jumpsuit.
That's true.
It's professional.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm all right.
I wonder if Chris misses suits.
I mean, he can wear one. No, they're not forbidden.
It's true.
I mean, nobody said, "Hey, coaches, look."
Like baseball, wear the uniform. If you wore a basketball uniform as the coach, that would be awesome.
I mean, we haven't had a player manager in Major League Baseball since like the late 70s, and yet we're still putting the uniform on. I don't mind it though. I'll be frank. I will get annoyed if you take it away.
If suddenly I looked into the dugouts and saw coaches in a polo and a pair of slacks, I probably would be irritated.
Yeah,
I'm so used to it now that don't change.
So I'm obviously not going to give all. There's a ton of material. I'm working on a project, whatever. It's not time for announce. But I was talking to Don Kessinger over the course of over last week, and he was the last American League player manager for the White Sox.
Mm-hmm.
And he's telling the story of Bill Vack came in and basically said, "Hey, do you want to be my manager?" Blah, 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 blah. And he said, "You have a manager. I'm not having this conversation until whatever." And he said it's one of the things where you don't think through it at the beginning, but when you're the player manager, there's lots of problems as far as you playing yourself, or you putting yourself in the lineup, the young kid, how do you get him in? Because Don was way late in his career at this point. It was the very end.
Yeah.
But he said, nobody had explained to me, I'm in the batter's box and I want to hit and run. How do I give a sign? When I'm in the field playing shortstop, I need to talk to my pitcher. What do I do? And he said that a lot of times what I would do is, he said, I would call time when I'm at short. I'd go in, the umpire would come out and ask me and go, are you talking to him as a player or as the coach? Because if it's a manager, I got to write down and keep tabs. If it's a player, you get time out. And he said, a lot of times I didn't know how to answer it. He said, I literally would tell the home plate umpire, walk out there with me, listen to it, and you tell me which one it is.
Oh, that's a lot.
It said the umpire would make the decision. And he said what they figured out from home plate was Don would, Pete Rose was the last NL player manager.
Right.
Don was the last AL player manager with the White Sox. And he said that what he would do was they had to figure out, because he's like, I'm not going to get, if you're not in the stream, like the normal baseball signs. He's like, I'm not going to back out and start doing this and whatever. My guy, he goes, so what we figured out, he goes, it was the most simple thing in the world, is he would look at the third base coach, and literally, depending on which way his head movements were different signs. So if he like barely tilted to the left and looked over one shoulder, it was a steal or a hit and run the other way or whatever. And he's like, multiple times the third baseman would look over at third base coach and go, what's he doing? He's not giving a sign. We're like, okay. But he said, think about that. You're trying to hit, and now you have to be so aware of just your mannerisms because you could accidentally
give a sign while you're trying to hit major league pitching.
Yeah.
Feels like that's
As
a lot.
we said, and he admitted, he goes, my demeanor was probably not right for that job. It takes a very specific personality to be able to pull that off. And it's why nobody does it now.
Yeah,
but
it's not possible.
No, not
today.
In a media environment today.
Not today.
Yeah. So anyway, but no, we should absolutely start wearing suits again in basketball.
Although I would like to see Fernando Tatis Jr. be the manager of the Padres. That would sign me up. That would be must.
Would you?
Yeah, that'd be must see television.
Okay. Which Cub would be the best manager of the current team?
Oh,
like I always felt like Kyle Hendricks could pull it off.
Yeah, I think Kyle Hendricks could absolutely pull it off. I'm trying to think if there's a regular everyday player. Dansby Swanson.
Isn't it more likely to work as a pitcher because you got 4 days where you're not dealing with the other stuff?
Yeah.
Why is it always position players?
Guess I went to pull yourself.
Oh, good luck.
I mean, do you take that away from you on that day?
Oh, hey, pitching coach, look,
you're my guy today.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna cuss you.
I'm gonna fire you after the game,
and we'll be all right. Just heads up. Yeah. The problem I have is that I'm an 87-year-old man, and I hate casual everywhere. Like that's actually the problem.
Yeah.
Like I get frustrated by lack of formality in general.
You don't like that church has gone.
Oh,
I'm the same way.
Neal.
Oh, dude.
Neal.
I know. Oh,
my blood pressure rises when
Yeah.
I see men in like open toe shoes at church. I'm like, I'm.
It's one of the reasons I don't like the contemporary services.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
I grew up in an era when the minister wore a suit under the robe.
Yeah.
And it was formal. I wore from the...
Doesn't have to be crazy expensive. Doesn't have to be just whatever your thing is that's a little elevated. That's all. That's all I'm asking.
From middle school on, I wore a coat and tie to church. And that's how it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't think I'd put tie on, but just...
So...
Oh, yeah. There are some basketball coaches that, if you had to put a basketball uniform on, I need to see that. The coaches had to wear a basketball uniform.
Yeah.
Got some questions.
Not many could pull it off, really.
No, not at all. So anyway, sorry, I didn't really mean to get completely down that road, but anyway. Last night, again, Iowa knocks off LSU 94-87, the final on that one to advance to the Final Four. They will play UConn next. UConn knocks off USC 80-73, and I don't know what the ratings are first game to second game. I will be a little fascinated by that because I thought that gave us. I don't dress up for you, Ginger. You're right. I'm sorry. I'll come in a suit tomorrow. I
don't dress up because if I get dressed, the odds of me going to exercise.
Oh, well, that's kind of what
slimmer.
I'm like. Like that's part of it. But anyway,
yeah.
I'm really fascinated on ratings and kind of what it looks like moving forward because last night I thought that was a good test case. You get this huge game, and we'll break it down, but you get this huge game, you get all the pomp, social media is blowing up, TV's blowing up, the perfect TV result, high scoring, close, stars playing like stars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Angel Reese gets hurt, still has 17 and 20. Caitlin Clark goes for 41 and 8, 41 and 6, something like that.
Yeah, she was terrific.
All these things. But then the second game, who stayed? Because I've contended here. I think next year, Juju Watkins and Paige Beckers are the face of women's college basketball.
Yeah.
Both of them are back.
Yeah.
You get East Coast, West Coast, all this stuff.
Angel Reese did not rule out a return.
No, of course not. All these different things. So how many people lingered on for another really great game? Juju Watkins, 29 points last night in the loss. Paige Becker's 28 and 10 assists or something in the
like
win
that.
last night. UConn, obviously huge name. Juju Watkins, incredibly talented. And I was really impressed with her in postgame last night. She handled things really well for a young kid that was upset and emotional. I gave her a lot of points for the way that she handled all that last night. So I'm curious, what was the carryover? You know what I mean? Because you're going to need them next year. If this is not going to be one volcano erupt and then fall out, that's where this thing goes. And I'm kind of curious where that looks like.
Yeah, and I don't know the answer to that because the Caitlin Clark is generational in her following. I mean, Jamel Hill disagrees, but
yeah.
Good God. I mean, come on.
And she did later on compliment her a lot. It kind of came back around. Yeah, toward the end of the thing.
I wouldn't get to do that. I wouldn't get to come back around. Yeah. That's cheapening her accomplishment when you make it out to be anything about race. It was not about race. Give me a break. Look, it was a big night for that sport, for women's college basketball. Big night. All jokes aside, huge night for that sport.
It was the biggest night in its history.
And it delivered.
That's the thing.
And so I'm really curious now to see, okay, what are these final – okay, look, for me, and I'm a pretty big sports fan. Not like I used to be, but I still watch a lot of sports. The men's Final Four is not appointment viewing. I'll probably catch some of it, but like Saturday night, Carson's got prom and stuff, so I'm sure we'll go out and do the pictures and all that stuff. And so I'm going to miss some of the first game.
Sure.
And I'm not going to be all worked up about it. I'll probably catch the Alabama-UConn game, and it'll be interesting, especially if it's a good game. But UConn-Iowa women's basketball, Chase? No, I'm totally serious.
No, I know.
Is appointment viewing. I will plan my day around that. I told you, you've known Laura a long time. Laura likes sports fine.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, she'll sometimes text me when I'm at Vaught Hemingway or wherever Ole Miss is playing, and she might go, hey, where do I find the Ole Miss game? Or to be honest, because the girls, since they went to Arkansas, hey, what time does Arkansas play today? Who do they play? I might get that. But there's never appointment viewing for her. Ole Miss, LSU, 2:30. She's not planning her day around 2:30.
Sure.
Now, at 4:15, she might come in from somewhere and go, she might send me the text. They go, what network is the game on? And I'll say it's ESPN or whatever. And she's like, oh, is it worth watching? That might be the extent of it. Yesterday, at lunch, we're watching the game, right? And I was like, wait, what? What?
Yeah.
And, and then Campbell came down last night, right about the time that the game started with, she had been talking to her boyfriend, and she's like, yeah, Brock was talking about this game. And I'm like, really?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, yeah, we're watching. And I thought, oh, this thing's going to get a big number. Don't get me wrong. The McCready household doesn't impact, but it was indicative of those types of people.
That was across the country.
Yes. Those
young
types
kids, boy and girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sport fan, not sport fan, man, woman, the whole deal. And you get this frenetic first half. It's 45-45 at the break.
It's fantastic.
It
was great TV.
You get her coming out and erupting in the third quarter with these 3 long threes, hit 4 for the quarter, all these different things.
You get
Reese was dominant inside.
You got the great GIF that's going to carry on.
Where
Van Lith goes, well, I don't know what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, she literally shrugs and goes, I don't know.
Whatever. It's kind of like,
yeah, if you're going to do that, we can go home.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah. It's your night.
Van Lith is a really interesting story, too, that didn't get the pub because of Reese and the other stuff, because she left Louisville to try to super team and win a title and didn't handle it well, admits it, got frustrated, wasn't the face of a really good program at Louisville that went to the Elite Eight last year, knocked out Ole Miss in the Sweet 16 last year. No, it was perfect. It was kind of your perfect game from getting that much build up and then becoming what it became as the game played out. I mean, that number is going to be huge consistently throughout the contest all the way through. To be an Elite Eight game, Clark added another chapter to everything as far as legacy and what it means and what she looks like and how this thing plays out.
How she carried herself.
Yeah.
That's, to me, one of the things that I admire about her is she admits that, hey, the pressure is getting to me.
Yeah. She said she was ready to get out of Iowa City.
Yeah.
The home games were getting difficult.
Her family was in Albany, and they were like texting her, and she's like, "Y'all go do your own thing. I'm just going to hang in the hotel." I get it, but she's handled it really well. And unlike, and you saw this on the other side, I didn't think LSU handled the moment particularly great.
No, they got very frustrated. They got tired. Pace got to them.
Yeah. Clark's ability, from a basketball standpoint, her ability to see the floor is Magic Johnson-esque.
She's the best passer in the country.
Yeah. You know, it was funny. I was laughing about it last night. I've watched enough of Iowa this year now that I know more players' names on the Iowa team.
I did find myself, there was like at that moment in the second half, I'm like, oh no, that's third foul. That's not good. I'm like, hold on a minute. You know their post? Like, what'd you do right there?
Like Gabby Marshall made a play, and I was like, "Atta girl, Gabby."
Yeah.
And Laura looked at me like, "You know her name?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've watched them play all year." I mean, I was involved in multiple text things last night about that game with people who normally don't watch women's college basketball. So that's to your point, and they still got more time because, look, they're going to get South Carolina against either Iowa
or UConn.
You're going to get South Carolina going up against either.
For a perfect season.
Either Gino Auriemma in his 23rd Final Four.
Yeah.
Let that soak in. Or the biggest single name since Cheryl Miller in the history of the sport. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, 100%. Today's
playing her final game. I mean, you're going to get the drama. Can you capitalize on it moving forward?
I want to know the ratings on Friday. Isn't it Friday?
The semifinals Friday.
Is it Friday?
Sunday? Is that what they do?
I think that's right.
Okay.
I thought it used to be whatever. But anyway.
It used to be Sunday, Tuesday.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I thought the Athletics said Friday for the semifinals, so I took their word for it. If they're wrong, then I apologize. But I want to see the ratings on Friday because, again, you've got Caitlin, if she wins, faces the winner of this. You've got this Carolina team that's 36-0. You got Dawn Staley. You got all this kind of stuff going on.
It's Friday.
Okay. But it's NC State, South Carolina. It's not UConn or Iowa in that game. What is the ratings disparity between those two games? I think that gives us a decent idea moving forward what this really means because you still get the Caitlin Clark catalyst for that game because, hey, you just got to play one of them if they win. But is there a huge difference in the number for an undefeated SEC team trying to dynasty this thing versus the upstart? And by the way, NC State and UConn, both men's and women's in the Final Four.
A big weekend for their athletic administration. The NC State, South Carolina is at 6:00 Friday.
It's first.
That's
smart.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Before when everybody's still in this thing.
And then UConn, Iowa is at 8:30 scheduled tip.
I know most people don't probably care, so I won't spend a ton of time on this, but I know I've been mentioning Paige Beckers a lot the last few days.
That's your girl.
Well, she tore her ACL, played for UConn. There's lots of reasons why it kind of happened. I think there's a world here, and I'm not a women's basketball historian at all, so I mean, it may be somebody's rolling their eyes at me. She's potentially the most underrated or undervalued player in modern college basketball women history. Because
I think there's just so much oxygen.
She's incredible.
Right.
And she plays for UConn, so you're constantly compared to Sue Bird, and Maya Moore, and all the greats at UConn over the years. She hasn't gone crazy on titles because of South Carolina and injury. And frankly, for UConn relative, they've fallen off just a touch from what they were. And Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and all these people are taking up so much oxygen, and we're not really focused on it. They don't play a ton of games we're necessarily watching. They didn't play Iowa in the regular season. It's all these different deals. I mean, they played Iowa in the 2021 Sweet 16, but okay, that was ancient ago. It's just that's kind of what's fascinating to me is I think she's an incredible talent, one of those all-time kind of people, but she's in the wrong era at the wrong time, kind of on the wrong team. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious if the country gets behind her at all, or if she's still kind of seen as best player on this Death Star of a program at UConn. Gino's not overly liked. It's a weird deal.
She's in a tough spot because Fridays people are going to be, the country's cheering against her.
I know that. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But I guess that's my point. What if she goes for 40 and they win? Does it carry into next year?
Depending on how she handles it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her coach didn't do her any favors because I know he was propping her up, but the country that's very casual about this is going to take that as anti-Caitlin instead of pro-Paige.
Yeah.
Which, shut up. But that's how that would be because multiple times he said Paige Beckers is the best player in the country.
And
maybe she is.
She's very good.
Yeah, sure. But good luck with support on Friday. Cleveland for the Final Four.
I just wish we could have had this conversation. I wish I could have this conversation with someone that didn't hate the sport the way that you do. That's all. That's it. I've been cheated. This has been a hard. I mean, look,
you didn't know I was a UConn apologist either, did you? Go. You know what?
This has been a hard few months for me. I haven't had a happy moment since you put out that story on budgets, and I don't want to use it as an excuse for poor performance on the podcast, but I mean, it's weighed on me.
There was a minute there when I was in like junior high or high school that there was some job offer where potentially my family was moving to Connecticut.
Uh-huh.
I mean, how big of a husky would I be today if that were the case? I mean, blue and white would be streaming off of me at that point.
You would have named your dog instead of Gumbo. You'd have named it Lobo. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. That's good. That's good.
Oh, I mean, I'm on a roll today.
That's good.
I'd be just imagine how good this show would be if that had happened. Oh, well.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we've got almost if this carries over, we do have a chance for a pretty cool kind of East Coast West Coast thing with Juju and Paige next year.
Yeah,
where it feels like they're.
But they got to get the media that covers that sport. They got to stop buying it. They got to stop some of the storylines. Everything doesn't have to be so divisive.
No, just enjoy it. We're all good.
Yeah.
Stop comparing everything.
And then Angel Reese has to stop this victim thing.
Well, she's gone. She's not coming back.
You got to stop. I mean,
she's not coming back.
Even at the WNBA, stop. You won a national title. You're a beautiful woman. They put you on the cover of, not the cover, but in Sports Illustrated. You've made a ton of money off this. People gave you all the respect in the world. And then you come out while Caitlin Clark's doing warm-ups and you put the crown on the chair and you do all the stuff and then you get beat. Just congratulate, and maybe she did in private. Congratulate and just go on.
I would read an oral history of that under 19 U.S. team that had all of them on it at the same time.
Oh, for sure.
That was Beckers and Reese and Van Lith and Clark and all on one USA under 19 team.
Yeah, I mean, they all know each other.
Oh, forever.
What I'm curious about is can they, and I think the answer to this is no. But the fact that it's not an emphatic no makes me wonder is, can Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and those type people take this momentum into a WNBA season and make it somewhat relevant, where we're actually paying attention to WNBA playoffs?
It will require a bit of reverse course to where we try to get you would have to make some effort to get reacquainted with former players that are now in the WNBA.
Right.
Aaliyah Boston and those kind of people that you.
That's my point. Can Caitlin Clark's presence, can Angel Reese's presence get people to go, oh, hey, I remember her? Because right now that's a forgotten league.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it doesn't exist. It has to say it's fringe.
Can you even tell me who won the title last year?
The Las Vegas.
That's right.
Stars?
Aces.
Yeah.
Close.
They beat the Connecticut team?
Sun.
Is that who they beat? Was Connecticut
I
Sun?
don't know the answer to
Okay.
that, but I don't know. Anyway. Yeah.
Oh, Carol called.
Yeah. I mean, school's out. Early dismissals.
Damn it.
Sorry, stream problems. I don't know. Yeah, Friday's gonna be cool. So we got at 6 and 8:30.
Yep, 6 and 8:30.
Central
Yes,
in Cleveland,
Ohio.
So that on Friday, men's Final Four on Saturday. We'll continue to talk about that. We'll come back after the break, hit it a few more times. Prime Shrimp, primeshrimp.com. A lot of different flavors, including the soy ginger. That is the most recent option. A lot of choices for you. It's great with hibachi, other proteins, rice, vegetables. Doctor it up there with Prime Shrimp. Maybe their New Orleans style barbecue. It's their best seller. The signature is one of my favorites as well. Great protein snacks, great lunch options, and quick dinners. They are delivered straight to your door fewer than 10 minutes, freezer to plate with Prime Shrimp. Also, we'll give you a discount. Use code RG. Buy 5 pouches or more, some of your favorites, or a sampler. Again, that's code RG with primeshrimp.com.
Also brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. Get in touch with John if you're trying to plan a trip that you want extra attention. Make it one that creates a lifetime of unique memories. Get in touch with John. Give him some parameters. Give him a budget. He'll give you options that you're probably not going to find on your own, and you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services either. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. Oxford's newest Greek restaurant on the square, Opa, is the perfect place to plan your company dinner, your festive party event. Fabulous food, great craft libations as well. Opa can accommodate up to 200 guests. For catering or booking information, contact Jeannie, 601-421-7147. And speaking of Final Fours, don't forget, especially early in the late afternoons, early evening before the college kids take it over, check out Rafters Music and Food on the square in Oxford. Great place to grab a meal, grab a drink. Watch some of the games on all the screens there at Rafters Music and Food on the square in Oxford. We're also brought to you by Service Specialist Staffing and Recruiting Agency. Listen, if your company is trying to hire quality, hard-to-find talent, Service Specialists can help. Keep in mind that payment of service is solely contingent on if you decide to hire a candidate that they send. In other words, you've got nothing to lose. So give Will, Sydney, or Kelsey a call at 601-573-9242 or check out their new and improved website, servicespecialistltd.com. Get the beautiful and healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Check them out on corinthdental.com.
The other thing last night taught us, but we already knew this, the men's game needs to switch to quarters.
Yeah.
Quarters are so much cleaner. It allows fouls to reset. It changes the media timeout structure.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so much better of a product from a quarter standpoint.
Totally agree.
I mean, what are we doing?
I don't know.
Let's go. It's not changing gameplay. Stats are stats. Still playing 40 minutes.
Reduces all the free throws. Let's a little more gameplay, like you said. No, I'm totally for it. The women's game from that standpoint is a better product.
When good teams are on the floor, the women's game is really clean.
Yeah.
Just play.
The first half of that game last night was an absolute – it was theater.
Nobody decided to play defense. Let's just go score and run it up.
Well, there's so many good players in the court, it was hard to defend them.
Yeah.
And both teams are shooting the ball so well.
Yeah, it's fun. All right, 4 games. We're in the Final Four in both. It's going to be kind of obvious, but I'm just curious. 1 to 10, interest. You're 10 on Iowa and Connecticut.
Yes, 10.
South Carolina, NC State.
Okay, so it's a nuanced answer.
Yeah.
Initially, about a 5. If you tell me, hey, going to the fourth quarter, NC State's in it, it's a 10.
Yes. I think that's about right. I in my mind, I want to be more interested, and I'm just not going in.
I'm just trying to be honest. Yeah. And frankly,
I feel like I should be interested, and I'm just not.
Yeah. Which makes me wonder how many people are like us, where our interest is really more about Caitlin Clark.
Yeah. I mean, I'm if you switched it and had UConn playing Carolina, it's like an 8.5.
Yes.
I need Iowa or UConn. I'm 2 teams here. Because South Carolina, again, they're great. They're undefeated. They're trying to win an undefeated national championship.
No, I would have loved to have seen, and I'm sure the network would love this too. Hey, can we switch this thing up and let UConn take a shot at South Carolina in a semifinal?
Yeah.
And let's get NC State versus Iowa because Caitlin's on the floor. They can play anybody right now. People are watching.
Yeah.
And then let's get her to Sunday.
Let's make sure she's in.
Yeah.
And then
that's I mean, look, if you're the
what's NC State, a 3 seed?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not like they're a pushover.
UConn is too, right?
Yeah.
But they're a damn good 3 seed. That feels.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't fair to somebody as a 1. And then, okay. So if you have 5, yeah, I'll go there. Men's side.
Okay.
UConn, Alabama. It's high for me. I'm really interested in that game. It's 8.5.
9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're higher than me. Purdue, NC State, I'm like a 6, 5. I think I know what's coming. And I'm not even doing the Tennessee Edie thing. I just don't like it.
I'm a 7 if I let myself be a 7.
Now, NC State's 2 minutes from an upset, and you're glued.
Yes.
It's a lot like the other.
Here's the thing. Here's the rest of that answer. So let's go chalk. On Sunday, UConn, South Carolina women's game, what's my interest? It is a 10. It is a 10. And then on Monday, UConn, Purdue, what's my interest?
But it's because you don't want – it's Purdue, though, is your problem.
It's a 7, and then you're going to – someone's going to – yeah, I'm watching, but I don't know that I'm locked in. I'm playing on my phone, and if I start to notice that it gets good, I might get in.
Yeah. So there's no doubt to you, Iowa, South Carolina is much higher than –
Chase, it's as high as you can get for me. It's I mean, I'm totally in on the drama of it. You're going to get a monumental story. Either a team's going to go undefeated or Caitlin Clark in her final game is going to slay the dragon. We do sports writing for a living. That's let me go to the arena. This is not hard. Like, we have days when you go to a game. Yeah. I mean, like, Ole Miss is getting ready to play. I'll give you an example. Let's see. Last season, Ole Miss is getting ready to play. ULM. Like, what the hell are we writing? All right, what are we?
Yeah, Ole Miss is going to win this game 38-10, and then
it's whatever. You pre-writing columns.
Yeah, sure.
The Egg Bowl is going to be big. This is one of those deals you just show up. You just show up. I mean, there's going to be theater. And people actually will read your work. Like, I woke up this morning to read The Athletic to see what the hell they wrote.
I'm not being hyperbolic when I make this sentence. If it's Iowa, South Carolina, I'm thinking through this real quick before I say it. If it is not the Saints in a playoff game, I don't know if there will be a game the entire 2024 in any sport I'm as interested in.
Oh.
I will care more about this game than I did the Super Bowl 2 months ago.
Yeah. 100%.
Whatever that says. I mean, look, I'm entertained by the NFL playoffs. Don't get me wrong, but you know what I mean.
But you're not
where you're
invested.
Like in.
Yeah. I was invested last night.
Yeah. That's a good word.
I was cheering. I wanted them to win.
I found myself audibly saying things out loud multiple times.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
In both, I'm in. Let's.
Because Kate Martin made a 3,
and I
was
wanted
like,
everybody healthy. Like, Angel Reese gets hurt. I'm like, shit, no, come on, let's go. If we're gonna do this, let's do it full strength.
Yeah, let's. Oh, at 45, I was like, oh, this is. Hey.
Yeah, and then she comes out and hits the 27-footer, and you go, oh, game on. We're going now.
Yeah.
That was the ultimate heat check, by the way. She threw up the one from half court just to see what the hell happened right there, and it banged off the back iron and went over the backboard.
That's what you'd love to be inside the head of her coach. Because she's like, if next year anybody on this team does that, I'm jerking their ass off the floor so fast, screaming at them.
But ultimate green light.
Do it.
Well, she was frustrated with her. She's like, run the clock. Stop going down and just shooting.
Yeah.
Run the clock.
Like, Kate Martin went down and took a shot early, and I was like, oh, you're not. No. That's not. No. You're not her. Be careful. But it's kind of like, I mean, you can just sort of see, like, hey, I'm along for the ride. I'll give both women's coaches this: their answers are far more detailed than the men's coaches give.
Oh, they are, yeah.
Like they both kind of, even Kim Mulkey, who's not into that,
she gave a really good answer a couple times.
Understood that last night was big.
Yeah, I'll play.
Yeah. And Holly Rowe. all jokes aside, is terrific.
She did a good job. Yeah, she did a great job.
Very good at what she does.
Tennessee, last thing on women's basketball. Tennessee fired his coach. They fired Kelly Harper yesterday. Curious if they finally get away from that. We got to go hire a pad assistant thing. And they just going to play now, or are they going to figure it out? Because, look, there's still a lot of support and money in women's basketball in Tennessee.
100%.
They care. So kind of curious to see what they do in that regard moving forward. Saw get-in prices around $600, $650 for the Final Four, the women's last night.
Is that right?
The price jumped from $325 to about $650.
You could get in Clemson, Alabama, and Los Angeles the other day for the price of a hamburger.
Could you really?
Mm-hmm. A cheap hamburger.
You want Bama to win?
Yeah.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you told me I could pick the winner of the...
I think I would want them to beat anyone else, but I think I want UConn to win.
Yeah. I have no problem with UConn winning. They're great.
I told you, I don't have any kind of like real reaction to any of the teams in the Final Four, so just let the best team create that type of dynasty kind of moment here. I'm good with that.
Well, not many teams win back-to-back.
And in this fashion.
And teams that do it, I mean, they kind of remind me of the Gators back with
Joakim Noah and all them.
Al Horford and Corey Brewer and all those guys, Tarian Green.
Yeah. The white kid whose name's escaping me.
Lee Humphreys.
Yeah.
And then, the Duke team with Bobby Hurley and Grant Hill and Christian Laettner and Antonio Lang and those guys, Brian Davis. 2 in a row's hard.
One's hard.
Yeah, championships are hard. I was watching
and to not be fat and happy on the next year.
I watched the documentary about the Fab Five the last couple of days. 2 title games, no titles. The pressure that was on them, all the stuff. I mean, just hard. Winning a championship is hard.
We'll tease this. We'll come back and talk about it after the break. What's going on with Arkansas, Musselman?
Really interesting stuff. So they put out a video, they being their
bus thing, the
athletics department, the AD, put out a thing with the must bus, right? And you see Hunter Yurachek, the AD, get on the bus, and he sits down, and you see Eric Musselman yell back, "Buckle up." And,
driving the bus.
Yeah, driving the bus. Buckle up. And he says, "Oh, you're still here?"
Joke. Ha ha.
And so there was
everyone took it as he's back, we're good, we're all in, go Hogs.
And turns out they had edited an old video, and Musselman and his staff had no knowledge of that video coming out, and that there has been no extension agreed to or anything of that nature. And now there are reports today, that Eric Musselman is among the leading candidates at USC, and there are some insiders at Arkansas who believe that Eric Musselman will be the next head coach at USC. USC's coach took the SMU job, Infeld.
Yes, Andy Infeld took the SMU gig
yesterday.
Who's now in the ACC.
Sure.
Just keeping track of everybody.
Yeah. USC now in the Big Ten.
That's correct.
So a lot of people think, well, I shouldn't say a lot of people. There are some people who think that it was done intentionally to sort of force Musselman to, or get off the pot.
But it pissed him off.
I think it irritated him.
Okay. Got a question. Come back after the break with that. Tell you quickly about GNM Pharmacy and Tyson Drugs. GNM in Oxford on South Lamar, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer MedSync. Free prescriptions the same day each month. Take care of you. Also make it easy to transfer your medications over to GNM. You make one phone call, they'll do everything else. You're ready to go with the community pharmacy of choice there with GNM. So, again, that is on the square in Holly Springs with Tyson Drugs on South Lamar in Oxford. That's 662-236-2222.
Are you a displaced corporate executive wanting to put your career in your own hands? Are you an experienced entrepreneur looking to diversify? Either way, Andy Ludicky can help. He owns multiple franchises, businesses, uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. Call Andy, put your life and your career in your own hands. It's 100% free. You've got nothing to lose. MyPerfectFranchise.net. Andy at myperfectfranchise.net, or you can just call Andy's phone, 404-973-9901. Southern Traditions Farm is a 68-acre, 32-stall upscale equestrian training and boarding facility in Canton, Mississippi. 2 sand rings, a grass ring, miles of wooded trails. There's a lot offered at Southern Traditions, including horseback riding offerings from beginner to advanced, to being able to compete in nationally recognized competitions. Check them out on Facebook or Instagram at Southern Traditions Farm. And we're brought to you by Sotheby's International Realty. Are you thinking of making a move? Put the power of Sotheby's International Realty to work for you. As a licensed agent with Sotheby's and a supporter of all things Ole Miss, Art Hayes can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously. Call and ask him how. 612-805-5929 or email him at arthur.hayes, Hays, at lakesmn.com.
Podcast is brought to you by Northeast Spark, NESPARC. 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze. That is their 1 gig option. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's nespark.com. 662-238-3159. Phone service, pro controls, network security, a wireless mesh extender for those who need the extra help, and more. Again, that's 662-238-3159. Reading here from Ross Dellinger says that the Big 12 is delaying their whole Big 12 Mexico initiative they had going with games and different things there to at least 2025. They said that there have been a variety of major initiatives have been added to the conference's agenda, headlined by the onboarding of 4 new institutions that will continue to build its brand in Mexico through its partners, and enthusiastic about bringing it soon. So,
Okay.
a little delay there from that. So, okay. Obviously, Arkansas is a place you can win. Musselman's been to 2 Elite Eights and Sweet 16 in 3 seasons before this past year.
Yep.
Ron Holland, the portal going to hell, chemistry, a lot of reasons they fell off the map.
Yep.
It's easy to do in 2024 in college athletics.
It happens.
The support is still really good, though. They almost sort of neglect football for basketball and baseball in a way. They understand maybe you just win in these 2 and let football be what it is, or at least contemplating that decision. They support it. They fill it up. Bud Walton's still in good shape. They don't like him, and why? Like, what's happened? He was kind of a god 12 months ago.
I think they do like him. I mean, he's got a different personality.
But it played there.
It did. Plays until it doesn't work. Then it's like any place else now. In this era of college athletics, I don't know that anybody's got a whole lot of rope. They didn't win. He can get a little salty. And he's kind of a guy that moves around. He's been there for what, 4 or 5 years now? Kind of probably feels like time to try something different. And look, if it's not, this is the part that I'm most interested in as it pertains to that job. Would be, if your coach leaves right now, this is panic time unless you know who you're hiring.
Oh, dude.
And so I almost wonder if they know precisely who they're hiring if he leaves. They're not firing him. He's had 1 bad season. Again, 2 Elite Eights, a Sweet 16.
And nationally, the 2 names that are going to pop up are Chris Beard and Jerome Tang.
Yes.
Because of connections, and Tang's been wanting the damn job for a while.
If you made me guess,
It's Jerome Tang.
I would guess it's Jerome Tang, the Kansas State coach.
Yes.
But, hey, in today's world where players can sign someplace in the spring and leave in April, nothing's off the board ever anywhere anymore. Like, literally, you couldn't surprise me with the story. I'm not sure there's anything you could throw at me outside of some scandal involving player movement that would surprise me. Like, April the 15th is coming, and look, do I think a bunch of Ole Miss guys are getting in the portal? I really don't. But is there anybody that could jump in the portal where I would be stunned? No, the answer is no. No.
Arkansas is a better hoops job than SC.
Yeah, I think so.
I think.
But no, look, he's a West Coast guy. He grew up in San Diego.
Was it Nevada for a while? I know it's not the same thing.
Yeah, but you know, he's got ties out there. You know, who knows? I mean, I can't begin to tell you what the dynamics of the Southern Cal basketball job are outside of Bronny James played for them.
Yeah, sure.
So I have no idea. And I don't know what – look, Arkansas has been – and I'm not picking on Arkansas here. They're not the only ones in the league. They've been slow to embrace NIL. I think they thought by now it would be regulated. I think they thought by now this would be under control. And that's not the case. And they're behind significantly.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know whether he looks at this and goes, yeah, this used to be a great job. It's certainly a ton of fan interest. They love basketball there. And when they're going, I mean, it's a phenomenal environment. But maybe in this era, they don't have the money to put the roster together that you have to compete like this. I don't know the answer.
If it's going to play out, it's got to be over the next 5 days.
I mean, I would think.
This can't linger. You're in the portal right now.
Yeah, the portal's rolling.
You're losing every day you don't have a coach right now.
Yeah.
And whoever takes that job, that next program is even further down the line. And they have guys that could leave.
Yeah. No, if I'm USC and
It's a crater.
Andy Infeld has left, I need a coach in place by the end of the week.
Yeah. And he has left.
Yeah. And if I'm Arkansas and I lose Eric Musselman, I need a coach in place within 48 hours.
I'm going to tease this for tomorrow. Both like baseball stuff, stats, why people do what they do. So we'll talk about this at some point in more detail. Dylan sent it to me a minute ago. Here's the quote first before I tell you what it's about, okay?
Okay.
And maybe you read this, and if so, then okay. Red Sox pitching coach talking.
Okay.
We speak a lot about the fastball in general being a jab and equating that to boxing. If you're going 12 rounds or 8 rounds, you're not going to win by throwing jabs the whole time. The damage is done by throwing your haymakers in your best sequences. Jabs need to be located supremely to do any damage. So when you look at that through a baseball lens, it's knowing when and where to use your fastballs and leveraging your best off-speed weapons to do the damage against the hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Percentage of time that a team throws a fastball, team-wide.
Okay.
Got it? Boston, dead last. They only throw a fastball 10.9% of the time.
Wow.
10.9.
Well, even a boxer uses his jab more than 10.9% because you set everything up off the jab.
They have thrown 550 pitches to date, and they have thrown 60 fastballs.
So they're just throwing sliders and cutters.
Change-ups and sweepers and the whole deal. Again, we'll talk about it. We'll cover the whole story for tomorrow.
And you wonder why arms are getting blown up.
That's where I'm going. College, pro, all this stuff. If you're curious, the top team that throws fastballs is the Yankees. And see, hey, the Cubs are 6th in most fastballs. So they're right there. They're good. Better teams, all the teams at the top other than Angels, though, are pretty competitive, and they throw a ton of fastballs. You're talking about Rangers, Braves. I think the Indians are going to be pretty decent. Like
Guardians.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. I haven't gotten that one yet.
Yeah.
I've gotten the Commanders for the most part, but
Yeah.
we haven't gotten the I'm still struggling with the other.
Okay.
Just saying. Pirates, Giants, Red Sox, the 3 lowest number of fastball percentages.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost careful to do this because I don't want to look like I'm calling out somebody because I know nothing. But I was talking to someone about a middle school pitcher, and they were talking about his slider. And I was like, well, I mean, I get it, but should you really be throwing a bunch of sliders in the 7th grade? Is that really what you should be doing? Is that good for your arm? Is that good for your...
Not so much, no.
And my guess is no.
No. Pirates are going to win the division, by the way, right? They're
Undefeated, 5-0.
Yeah, I know. Rolling.
They're rolling. 2.5 game lead already.
Braves won 9-0 at U.S. Cellular in Chicago yesterday.
Yeah, there was no one at that game.
Was it bad?
It was really bad.
Rain shortened 8 innings yesterday.
But the problem for the White Sox is that the visual of the Cubs with a basically full stadium 8-9 miles away.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll hit some of that tomorrow. Whatever else is coming, Lane Kiffin will speak today. So
Yes.
see what Lane has to say here in a couple hours, and we'll talk about that on tomorrow's show. And then again, as long as weather permits, Ole Miss Memphis tonight from FedEx Field, I believe, is the name of Memphis's park there on campus.
When in
at
doubt,
the
just say FedEx.
That's a good point. Your chances are like 50-50 if you just go there and see what happens. So not AutoZone Park, FedEx Field. Be aware of that if you're going to the game. I know a couple years ago people went to the wrong stadium because they just assumed it was still at AutoZone, but that is now played on campus, which has really cut out the visiting media because we're not going there. We would go to AutoZone and go to Rendezvous and have a minute, but no, good. No thanks. So Ole Miss and Memphis tonight from FedEx Field. I don't even know if it's being streamed. I'm pretty sure it is. I'll check, put it on the message board if that's the case either way. So appreciate you guys. As always, be back. Talk to you tomorrow morning. RebelGrove.com. Lane Kiffin here in a little bit, and we'll talk to you then.